Alright, so welcome to part 4 of my InflationRPG full game guide. So it's not been a while this time, instead of 6 months. I've got enough motivation right now that I'm making this next episode just one day after the last one. In that last one, I went over getting rare gladius, rare armor, and then S-Talk, and then S-Talk plus 1. So now, this should be what your weapon armor looks like. And that is just fine weapon and armor wise to unlock HM. And I already said at one point in that last episode that the stuff I started that video with, the accessories I started that video with were already pretty much okay to unlock HM. There is one exception. You need recovery necklace. Well, you don't need it, but yeah, I mean, EHM can be unlocked without it with this gear. It doesn't even take a crazy lucky run or anything either. But recovery, which is usually shortened to reco, so that's what I'm going to call it from now on. Reco makes 100k just a very, very easy level to get to, instead of, something that you can fail to reach if you just get unlucky or just make a couple mistakes. And you're going to need it once you're into HM anyway, so there's no point just waiting. You might as well just get it now. So this should be a lot shorter of a video than the last one. I'd say expect it to be under, well under an hour, probably under half an hour, but if you're watching, I mean, you know how long the darn video it is. Yeah, you know how long the darn video is. It says right there, right under where my mouse is, on your timeline. You know how YouTube works, you're not stupid. So what I'm doing here is I'm just gonna die, essentially. I'm going to die a bunch. Because I want to have luck gems on my XP set so that I have, more than one luck to farm with. And I'm doing this for that reason because gear, it changes to your sets only save if you go through the game over screen. So if I were to just make those luck gem in for XP gem changes and then reset and then just start a new run from title screen without going to game over, it would just revert those changes. It would essentially act like I never made them, and I wouldn't have 8,000 luck on my XP set. But yeah, the stuff to do in this video is pretty simple. It's not going to take long for me to explain and complete doing, for a reason I'll get to in a second, but it's most likely going to take you longer than the previous stuff from the previous videos took you to do. That's because the recovery necklace farm isn't all that short of a farm. It's definitely the longest farm in the game at the point you get to it. There's obviously stuff later on that takes way longer, but this is the longest lasting farm, probably before you unlock hard mode. So what I'm going to be doing is active farming. Actually no, just to make it clear, what I'm going to be doing in this video is getting a recovery necklace, or showing you how to get it, and then cheating a bit because I already have it. I got lucky and got it on the first run of this save. So I'm going to be demonstrating how to farm it, and then skipping the process of farming it and just equipping it onto my sets, and then unlocking HM with it equipped. So with S-Stock 1 rare armor, I mean this could be done with rare gladius rare armor, it doesn't matter, because Ishtar's stats are very low. I do want these 2 gems, but just from the stats that these give me, I don't have to put a stat point into anything. It doesn't matter if I die, because I'm not going to go anywhere near using all my BP. So I'm just going to move forward with this XP set. Now, yeah, I did go down to about half HP there, so I guess I'll put stat points into things. I can't quite get through this whole run unstatted, but I'll also put a bunch of stat points into luck, because I don't really need to care much about how strong I am. The start of a run in normal mode now is very simple. So, active farming. This right here, this map, Graveyard, is where you start the process of farming reco in a run. So I just used a daily bonus. So how dailies work is when one is used, a bonus spawns on every zone in the map you're in that is currently empty, as in, has no bonus in it. So that is just for your current map, not for everywhere in the world. If I went down back into that castle area, then the zones in there wouldn't all have bonuses in them. Oh, so this is the wrong grip of question mark mobs. This is the grip C. They all look kind of like samurai kind of thing, and they drop weapons and armors. Not very useful ones in terms of attack and defense, but they don't, drop reco. Um, so also to do this properly, you'll need to be able to change your device's date and time settings. Unless you only want to do 3 active farming runs per day, which, trust me, is not going to be enough to do this any kind of fast. So exactly how to change your date and time settings varies a bit between devices, but you'll always be changing it if you can. You almost always can, from the settings app on your device, whatever that is. So before starting to actually do this, just make sure that you know where that settings app is, and then I'll get a little bit more in detail on how to date change and what specifically to do when date changing when it's actually relevant, when I have 0 daily bonuses. I'm actually getting kind of owned here while I was talking. It seems like I'm gonna need more stats than I thought for this, so I guess these runs aren't gonna be quite as short as I was thinking, but they should still be fine. Like, this is still a very short run farm. So, yeah, I'm gonna just kill Hatred here. So, why I'm killing Hatred instead of using my second daily bonus in there and just waiting for all the zones to be empty and then using it again, is because this guy teleports you, as you might remember, to another map. And all the bonuses, or all the zones here, are free of bonuses because, well, they're different zones to the ones in the map you were just in. It's a different map. So you can use your other daily bonus. You will have 2 as long as you hit the rating button. And I'm gonna get an ad. Come on, man. Where's the mute button at least? There is a tweet button on the statistics screen that I'm about to go to. And I can't remember which does which. Come on. This either allows you to have a second daily bonus per run, or it allows you to have a 6th daily bonus per day. When you just freshly install the game and you have no progress, you will be able to use only 1 per run, and you will have 5 per day. But after hitting rate and settings and tweet and statistics, not this one, the one I went to off title screen, you will have 2 per day, or no, 2 per run and 6 per day. 2 per day is 2 per run is especially important because, well, otherwise you can only use, your first daily bonus in the start of your graveyard, so there's no point going any farther, because that is 20 zones that I just put bonuses on in what would have been a pretty short time if, I'm not explaining stuff. So, because I didn't, get recovery, I just reset, and I go again. From the start. Which might sound pretty annoying, but, I mean, hey, the runs don't exactly go far into the game, so it's really not too bad. I guess I'll just move up without statting luck because, I mean, yeah, I'll die on run set because I don't have the HP and attack gem, that's no problem. I'm not going to bother statting luck because, well, the drop rates are still fine without much of it. While this fight's going, you can look at Ishtar's drop rates here on the Inflation Almanac spreadsheet. With 10,000 luck, which is around what I have with these 2 luck plus 3s, with 10,000 luck, you have 10.5% drop rate. If you're looking at Almanac ever, these are the final drop rate columns. If she had like combo rate ring as a second item, this is the column those drop rates would be in. So yeah, she has 10.5% drop rate for this with 10,000 luck. You could get unlucky and it might not take 10 kills with a 10% drop rate, but I mean 10 is a whole lot better than 1 or 2 or 3, so it could be a whole lot worse, although generally it's really not too bad in general. I mean, it's easy enough that I managed to accidentally get one on run 1. I can cash reco here to kind of cheese this, or not cheese, but kind of wiggle my way out of a pretty crap situation there. So it's also worth mentioning, all you care about on this run is getting recovery nickels. Nothing more. Nothing else is important. If you happen to get another drop, before being done with the active farming part of the run, and you want to keep that drop, that's fine, that's fair enough. You don't have to optimize your play count to be super low. You can feel free to just continue the run until game over screen, so you can end up keeping that item. But unless it's something that is actually going to be meaningful or important, just reset. Now, if you get the samurai grip, that's grip C, from a question mark bonus, and one of those guys drops like a weapon that's like gold sword or like gold, and then normal weapon name, and or like hard and then normal weapon name, keep those. You'll be very happy you did much later down the line. I'm not going to bother explaining yet. But those are weapons that you'll want later for the sake of just having more unique weapons for something very important later down the line that are usually pretty hard to get. But if you luck into getting them early, absolutely keep them. But yeah, if you don't get anything you want, just reset, or obviously especially if you get nothing, just reset. And see, that's grip C. That is a grip C mob, and I don't want your drops. I honestly was half expecting to just get a weapon here after saying that, and that would have been awkward. Okay, so there's another here. So also, because that mob I just fought was from grip C, which is not grip A, which is this grip, the grip that drops accessories, I just moved on because question mark bonuses only have one grip, and that grip doesn't change at any point during that bonus. So if I were in this the whole time, I would never have gotten one of the mobs from grip C or grip B, which you probably guess exists. So this is Ishtar. This is the one you want. I just covered her with this button, but whatever. This is the one you want to be fighting. She can drop. You're kidding me. Ah, nothing's ever been so funny. She can drop recovery necklace. Voila. So, I was gonna demonstrate something, or at least try to. So, an important detail. You can only drop an item from the first of the same question mark mob that you get in a run. So, if I were to fight Ishtar again, I don't have 3 recovery necklaces yet. It is possible for me to get another accessories or capped at 3 of the same one. If I were to get another Ishtar in this run, she would not even roll for the recovery necklace drop. It wouldn't even roll. It wouldn't even try to drop it. This is because of how an old glitch was fixed way back in, I think it was like 2018. It's not worth getting into here to waste like 10 minutes talking about something that's not even relevant anymore. I am going to finish this run because keeping that reco just sounds way too funny to me. So that applies to every other question mark mob too, and of course normal bosses, but what this means in terms of active farming reco is if you... how do I say this? I'm just swapping to this so I can end the run quickly by losing to this boss. If you have already fought Ishtar once and you didn't get reco, then you can know for a fact that you won't get it at all this run. So you can then just reset earlier than you normally would into the process of a run, which saves you a bit of time. Which is really nice. Obviously, if, as I said earlier, you have gotten something already you want to keep, then go ahead and do that. But yeah, just treat it as if you've now already checked through all the zones and you haven't gotten, the run is dead if you kill Ishtar and she doesn't drop reco. So also this is a thing that applies to actual bosses. You can't close the game on the results screen and then fight the same boss again for another chance at that loot. This was a thing that used to be possible, and in fact, because of the same glitch that allowed that, you also only lost 1 BP from a lost fight instead of 3 or in HM5. If you just close the game on the results screen, on the lost results screen where the game is like, you have lost this fight, you have lost BP because of it. So that was totally broken. It kind of just ruined the game's balancing for a while. I still kind of think people with high achievement ranks in the IRPG server who did all their stuff on the version that had that glitch, I don't think they really deserve those ranks, but it's whatever. It's it's been patched out since 2018. So there is that, which now this is something I've explained, and something else I have to explain so that you actually know more about what you're doing in active farming, is how to refresh your daily bonuses. Now again, you have to be first able to change the time on your device, which you almost always can, and secondly, you have to be willing to. Like if there's another like factor that'll mean that your like system clock or something just freaks out and breaks and dies. If you do like change your date, then okay, fair enough, don't do it. But if, assuming you can, this is how you do it. So I've just wasted a couple dailies here. I kind of tried for group A for some reason. So I now have 0 daily bonuses for this day, right? I can't use any more. So this is exactly what you want to do to refill your daily bonuses. It's kind of crazy that this game is still able to be just messed with like this. So make sure you're not looking at this bonuses screen. Go out into your settings app. I mean, I hope you know where the date and time stuff is. I know where it is for this Nox device, although settings just aren't loading. What? There we go, there we go, there we go. No, get back in. So, date and time. I do not live in West Africa. There's a fun factoid. So move your date to 1 day in the future. It only has to be 1 day. I mean, you could do it with like 24 if you want. You could just go a random amount of days forward. You could just go to any future day in the month. It doesn't matter, but I prefer to just keep it simple and go 1 day into the future, and then go back to your game and check your bonus screen. You will now have all those dailies back. I can't use any more in the game because I used 2 in this run. You can only ever use 2 in a run. It doesn't matter how many days that run goes over. And now your dailies are refilled. So now, I'm hitting the tab button, what? Now what you can do is you can go back to settings and reset the date to what it is. Now, if you're on Android, this button will usually exist. And what I like to do to reset my date really fast is just double click it. So the first click will turn it on and it'll set the date automatically to what it is. And then clicking it again will turn it back off so that you don't have to go and turn it back off before changing your date again. It's a really small thing, but it's nice. So now, you're on a date. So I have already used 6 daily bonuses and run out of them on June 14th, 2022. It's June 14th, 2022, and I have 6 dailies again. So you can go back and redo this for every other date. Or, no, what am I on about? Let me look at... okay, this does work multiple times for the same date. So you'd only ever need to go up 1 day. If I were to run out of daily bonuses again, I could go back to the 15th of June, just 1 day in the future. I could go up to that date again, and I would get all my dailies back again. So that's not an issue. Don't worry about, you know, like that. So now, that's the kind of 2 main things you need to know to save a lot of time. Obviously do reset your runs if they die, because it saves so much time over completing every single run. You really want to do that. So now the rest of this video is just unlocking HM. We're finally here. So this is pretty simple. It's pretty intuitive really. Just move through the game in the kind of way you'd expect to on a run where you're pushing level. So I'm fixing my sets here because I don't expect to need a reset. This should only take 1 run. Watch me actually just epic fail, and it takes 2. But also remember, equip recovery necklace on every set you own. If you have like a set 3 that you've got a bunch of luck items in for farming gold or items, put it in that too. Put it in every set. This is the most important item in the entire game. Do not expect it, by the way, to take 2 runs. I just got so lucky. I think I've like beaten Ishtar twice on this save and gotten recovery necklace both times. Do not expect that. 10% drop rate is not usually 100% like it's been for me on this. So yeah, just treat that as something really convenient. So yeah, this is pretty simple. Just move through the game as you'd expect to on a level push run. Make sure to kill every boss, because even with reco, which will make this pretty easy, every BP counts, right? Every BP you have at the end of the run is another fight you can do, it's more levels you can get. So there's no point at all trying to optimize the run and try to make it shorter by skipping some bosses, when taking like 5, maybe 10 if you're slow with it, extra minutes to just make sure you kill every optional boss will guarantee you the 100k becomes very easy to get. So just, you know, take that necessary time, just kill every boss. That includes Orochi. You can probably, honestly, you can probably skip the Maze Dragons since they don't give much BP and they do take a while to get through. If you're gonna skip any bosses, I'd recommend just leaving it at Maze Dragons and going and taking everything else. All 4 goddesses, Sphinx especially, because it gives like 6 free BP, that's a lot. And yeah, so I think I should be all good for HP here. HP isn't as important of a stat with reco as it is without, because with reco, if you deal enough damage to an enemy, as long as it doesn't one-shot you, you can just heal back every point of damage it deals you for every turn. So I could, I could have, this guy's never going to deal 2,000 damage to me. I can afford to have 2,000 HP here, because every time he hits me, even though it will be for like 3/4 of my HP if I had only 2,000, I'd still be healing it all back, and it's as if he never hits me after I take my turn with Reco. And that's why this item is so powerful. Basically, the whole game is, like, all stratting for this game past, very, very early on, is built around the fact that you can heal back whatever they hit you for, as long as you deal enough damage to them on your turns. This video is probably going to end up being like, I don't know, about half an hour, since, a full push run does take a bit of just time to complete. But this video, honestly, it's probably more than halfway finished already, and I'm 21 minutes in. This will probably be the shortest guide episode yet. Later on, I will start making the episodes shorter by force by cutting out parts of the video where I'm just farming, or just straight up editing together pieces of video of, say, I'll make the start of the guide episode and demonstrate how to do a farm run, and then I'll actually do the farming myself, like I'll do the hard work off camera, essentially, and then I'll record every try, and then put together in the video the demonstration of how to do the farm, and then the video of whenever I get the drop, and then whenever I explain whatever I have to explain after getting it. So don't worry, not every video where I farm a few items is gonna be like 10 hours long or like a million years like the last video was for 3 pretty easy farms. But this should probably end up being one of the shortest in the whole series. It'll definitely be the shortest so far, no matter what. So yeah, going through all 4 goddesses here, although it does take an extra minute or so, they give BP, and you want BP. So yeah, just taking the time to go through them all. Orochi especially, just as much as, like, say, Sphinx, who gives a ton of BP, is someone you want to go through because, I mean, I already went through a bunch of this last video. His 20k zone that's on the map that contains him gives more XP than the zone that Purple Equilibrium's in, even though they're both 20k. The one with Orochi just gives more. And also he gives a lot of XP, and also he gives a lot of BP. I think he gives either 5 or 6 like net gain after beating him. So say you fight him with 1 BP and you win, I think you end up with 6 BP, or maybe 7. I'm not sure. But either way, it is definitely a lot. He's one of the better bosses in the game in terms of how much BP he gives. No, I'll be fine here. It's nice because my run set is equally as strong as my XP set. Because my XP set is now just XP gems and reco. XP gems don't help you in a fight, right? They give you more levels out of it, but they don't help you to win a fight in the moment. So all the items I have that help me win fights here are S-Stock, Rare Armor, Recovery. All the items I have that help me win fights here are S-Stock, Rare Armor, Recovery. Well, S-Stock +1, but whatever. I don't think I'm gonna make it to Orochi Zone without another random encounter. Okay, the gauge got pretty full. I probably would have made it, but yeah, so I'll just take a random here on the way. Yeah, this part of the run, I'm probably gonna note in the description that you can kind of just skip this whole lot of the video. Heaven might be a bit more useful to watch, since Heaven can be pretty annoying to move up through. I wouldn't say to take like the exact, stats that I enter every zone with and enter every zone with those. Use your own wits for a lot of this. Just like, do the exact runs by yourself, except for the first run in the game, because everyone starts it with the exact same everything, which is nothing. But yeah, I mean, it's also pretty fun, you know, just constructing a run by yourself and being like, okay, I'm gonna go up here, 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 and here, and then it all works, right? Like, so even if, you know, you actually could have done this in, you actually could have gone 100k in one run by following this exactly, but you got it in two because you tried to improvise and failed. It's whatever, man. It's like 40 more minutes, and you play video games to enjoy them, so it's okay. Video games are so cool, man. Okay, no, they're not. But yeah, so that's Orochi down. You might have noticed I killed him at level 17,000. The first time I beat him, which was on I think the first run of the last video after getting rare gear, I needed to be about level 27,000. So 2 weapon upgrades and 1 very big accessory upgrade have done that. I'm gonna assume that you know at least how to read, know at least how to get through maze with the use of a guide. Again, it's something that just becomes like knowledge to you eventually, so don't worry about it needing a guide forever. You won't. You'll just kind of get it eventually. You'll usually kind of just know, like, remember the way from one spawn, and then another different one, and then another different one, and then the last one, and then you know all 4, and you never have to look at the maze guide again. I mean, after spending long enough playing this game and being active in it, really, I mean, I think I could actually quit IRPG and never touch it ever for 10 whole years, and probably still, if I came back to it, get to maze and be able to tell which spawn I'm in and how to get to middle from there. I've taken 1 or 2 breaks that have been well over 6 months long, and it still just wasn't an issue. So I didn't have any real trouble with Orochi, so I know I won't have any trouble with Maze Dragons, especially because Maze Dragons do, I think, have less attack than Orochi. So that actually makes them a decent chunk easier in practice once you have reco. Because once you have reco, enemy attack is way more important than enemy HP. It doesn't matter if something has a trillion HP. If it has like 100 attack, then you can survive it infinitely. And you can whittle down that trillion HP, although obviously nothing in the game is close to that. But in theory, you can win that fight. It would just take a stupid amount of time. Whereas if something has like a trillion attack, unless you can one-shot it, you're dead. You're never surviving a trillion attack hit. Unless you just never let them get that far. Well, there is one way, but that will be something we get to right at the end of the game, and no earlier. So I did decide to go through dragons here just to make absolutely sure that I do get 100k. Yeah, I'm almost definitely gonna have in the description that this whole part of the video can be skipped. Like everything from probably when I reached hatred in this run to whenever I reach heaven. Actually, no, whenever I reach grid, because grid is, when you're pushing for 100k, grid is a little bit trickier, but, like, thinking-wise, but it's still not that, like, complicated. That is because you have the decision that you can make between going just straight through Jalda, the boss in the middle of grid, that's always there, and just going into heaven, or trying for an exclamation mark question mark bonus and Tsukuyomi, because going through crystals gives you more BP and a lot more levels than just going through Jalda gives you. So that could make 100k even easier to get, but you could also just get unlucky and not get a Suku spawn for like 10 fights, and then you're entering heaven with less BP than you would have ended up entering with had you just gone through Jalda. And I think I'm fine against Black Equilibrium. I'm not fully out healing here, and I'm lagging to hell because of an ad. I mean, yeah, there's not much to say here. I'm kind of just filling time. I have nothing else in this, like, Word document script I have. Just to check, it is... Okay, good. I've been capturing my own screen this whole time. You know what? I'll try it. I'll see. So, what I'd advise doing here is pop a daily bonus in grid. if you get this bonus, try it. Try to get Suku. Now, if... Oh my god, what is this? See, this is insane. If you don't manage to get Suku, and this bonus runs out, so if I went all 4 of these fights without getting him, I was going to just go through Jalda and enter Heaven safely. Don't wait out Suku ever, unless you need to get in here, which you will for some things, for a couple things in HM, but again, that's later down the line. For this, it's 100% certain that you don't need the BP and levels from crystals. Funny. So you can just go through Jalda even after wasting a few BP, and you'll probably still be safe. It's just that getting all the stuff from crystals makes it just a little bit even easier. I mean, if you want to just, see just how high you can get in this run, then, I mean, feel free to reset a couple times. The game isn't on a timer. You can do things however fast or however slowly you want. You can play this game 12 hours a day and, be at endgame in 10 days. Don't expect to do that even if you play 24 hours a day, by the way. The game is random. You could play 24 hours a day and you could take a month to reach the end. Or you could take 6 days. You could play 12 hours a day and, be at endgame in a matter of weeks. Or you could play just, on the way up and down from school like I used to and take... I would have taken a couple of years to get there. I clicked on an ad. I would have taken a couple of years to get there had, that been the only time I was playing it, but... Of course, I played it a lot in my own, just free time, even when I was at home. But, yeah. Play the game at your own pace. Really important. If you try to just play and play and play until you get things done, without, stopping to just do other things or chill, or, do other things you like, all that, you will get tired of this game fast. It doesn't really matter who you are. You might have, enough love for this game that doesn't happen to you, and you just keep enjoying it. I don't want to say forever, but, until you're completely done with everything. But that's really unlikely, and I would say don't assume that that's you. Because from my experience, it's always the people that we don't expect to have amazing mental, or amazing, playtime, that end up having it. So now we're in Heaven, and this time we're not going down here to farm for Astok +1, we are going up in zone levels, because, well, higher levels, more XP. So, it's a little bit weird looking. To exit the first map of Heaven and to go on to higher level places, you have to go, spawn is here, you have to go out, around, you can go around the left side either, you can go around the left side too, but I always go around the right side. It's also faster the first Heaven boss, but that's something for later. And you just go up through this 47.5k zone. And now you're in another one, but there's another zone above it, 54k. I don't actually think I can take this, so I'm just gonna go into the side here. This is, yet again, the same level. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You're not going into here, and the first boss is not in there. Heaven is a pretty big place, just in general, actually. Oh, also, just to be really clear, so for active farming, just to go over this, you are using a daily bonus here to cover all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 zones. And then if you, don't have reco yet, you're beating Hatred to teleport into World 2, where you have an identical map zone-wise, and you're popping a daily just from here whenever you get in, to again check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 zones. So you're checking 20 zones in a minute or two. And only those. Now, I'll go to Heaven. See how much I'm having to scroll out? This place is huge. So, basically, the first boss is here, the second boss is here, the third boss is here, the fourth boss is here, the teleport boss out of here is here. If you struggle with even just the fourth boss at all, this guy will absolutely wreck you. So you want to be going generally up through the place. Like, the branch to the first boss comes from here, the branch to the second boss comes from here, third here, fourth here. So generally you're going up. Pretty slowly, but you are going up through the map of Heaven. What's this? I don't care. So I'll go into here, although I'm not gonna bother going for the first boss. The bosses in heaven and the, like 3 bosses in places later into the game than heaven are way stronger than the mobs around them. If you are ending every turn with full HP against the mobs in here, do not take that as a sign that the boss in here will be fine, because he's actually way stronger than everything around him. You'll probably have to be in like level 63k or something surviving fine before you can take on the first boss in his 50k zone. I can't really even be bothered going over to look at him there because it's a kind of long run. So now I'll go into 54k and I think I should be fine. Yeah, so this is okay. Generally, even with reco, even though not every turn, gives you back the same amount of health, and their hits always do slightly different amounts of damage, you can generally tell, like, oh, am I gonna win this, or oh, am I in trouble? You can tell from the first couple turns, usually. Once you have an idea for, how much HP each HP bar has, because, I mean, this third light blue bar takes 3 hits, this takes about 2, this takes about 2. The entire last 2 HP bars, or the entire first 2, took, like, 1 hit. It was only part of the damage from that hit, so you just kind of get a general idea in your head of, like, how much all those HP bars have relative to each other. It's just a thing that comes with time. So as you can see, I have a lot of BP left here. And I'm only 42,000 levels away. How long has this been going? 36 minutes. I mean, I'll probably have like 15, 20 of those recommended to skip, so yeah, probably a lot better in terms of content than the last video. What the hell? Oh my god. I got a Discord private message from Skull Kid. That's crazy. So now I'm gonna go into the left here. This is towards the second boss, but again, I'm not gonna fight him. And I'm actually just gonna stay in here, because this is an XP bonus. Obviously, this is a run where XP bonuses are something you like. Although, they aren't the only thing that matters in terms of a zone's XP. So, if I have, so a fight can spawn a bonus in any zone on the map you took the fight in. So if I fight something, so these 4 zones are all one map. This one is 47k. This one is 70k, and you can see 1E10, 3E9. So I'm not going to bother like explaining the math, but basically this zone gives about triple the XP that this one does. So even if you have an XP times 2 in here, if you can win fights in here, this still gives way more XP. So if you're having to go way down in level, in zone level, to take an XP bonus, then it's probably not worth it. Although that's generally not a huge thing anyway. I might die here. I might lose this. No, I'm okay. I'm good. So, yeah, 63,000 is fine, so I can just sit in here. Don't take, like, too many risks. Like, if you think you're fine to move up, but don't try to, rush it and squeeze every last level out. Just go in places as early as you can, even if you need to, get like crits or combos just to win the fight. Don't bother rushing it too hard. Don't bother rushing it at all. Just take your time, move up when you're clearly really safe in your current zone, and you might die once or twice during the run playing like that. I mean, like, not all enemies in a zone are equal. If you get like a hard enemy spawn on like, like just as you enter a zone before building stats up in there, and you like get a bad fight, you might lose 1 or 2. But even if I lose like 3 fights here, even if I just magically get like, the last boss in the game comes down and like kicks my ass 3 times, I'll still have 43 BP for only 32,000 levels. So even if I had died 3 times in this run, I would probably still be fine. And then there are also BP rings. If you're almost out of BP, and you have like, say, if you have like less than 10,000 levels to go, like you're already past 90k but you're not at 100 yet, remember BP rings. They are one of your best friends in this whole game. Remember to use those. Especially if you have any +2s or +3s that you got lucky and dropped from things. Those end up actually making 100k even way easier. Because, I mean, let's say I, like, somehow I had every BP ring in the game here. I would be able to put on 2 BP plus 3s, giving me 21 extra BP, and then I would also have 3 BP plus 2s, giving me 15 extra BP. So that's an extra 36 fights. Now, over those 36 fights, I'm not getting the same amount of XP as I was getting before, because you have to, you know, replace an XP gem with a BP rings, stuff like that. But that is a lot of extra fights compared to, you know, 0 extra fights if you're just not using BP rings. This is where IRPG map and stuff come in really handy. So, I'm currently in this zone. There is no XP bonus in it, so this is how much XP I am getting. This zone has an XP times 2 in it, and gives, so if you multiply this by 2, it becomes like 9.5 E plus 9, compared to 6.7. So, it is actually worth it to stay in here. That's a really useful thing you can do with IRPG map. You can just check if an XP bonus is worth it. I mean, I even have to do this. Yeah, I even have to do that sometimes on, you know, hard mode stairway runs, where I've played through that kind of run probably over 1,000 times now. I know it probably better than I know my own house. And sometimes I still have to check stuff. So it's still useful, even for me, on the runs I always do. And it's absolutely useful just at a million different times through the game to just check something like that. Check if an XP bonus is worth it. Check if you're in the right place to farm a drop from. Just a million different uses. My mouth is so dry, holy hell. No, I have gotten about 15,000 levels since entering here, so I think oh, well that's funny. I might be able to enter here. I might lose because, well, yeah, I mean, look at that. I'm losing a lot of HP. I will win this, I'm pretty sure, but I am losing a lot of HP. This is kind of close. A lot of levels, though. Wow, actually, really a lot. Ooh, okay. You won't need this kind of stuff to happen, don't worry. I mean, all the XP bonuses I've had have maybe saved me like 4 BP worth of you know, fights to get to this same level. And I'm so far ahead of pace, even though that it hasn't really helped me all that much. It still feels really nice though, so don't feel like it means nothing. Get a bunch of dopamine when you get an XP bonus. It's really cool when that happens. So I can't remember what I was talking about before. I actually can't. Yeah. No, I really can't. Usually I like forget for a second and then I remember, but no, I'm actually lost in my head. Yeah. As always, I'll link a bunch of stuff in the description. I'll link the IRPG map site. I won't bother linking the IRPG wiki since I'm not using any pages from it to show anything in this video, and it's pretty easy to find it. So you Google, right? And this is really simple. IRPG, or no, you Google InflationRPG wiki. And there it is. I mean, it looks like this. If you're at this, then you've gotten to the right place. But I won't bother linking it in the description. I also won't be linking this. I'm gonna stay in here since I'm gonna reach 100k in here. If I just keep taking fights. It's pretty easy now. I won't link this spreadsheet either, because it's not really private, but it's kind of a thing that we only have it. You can only really get it from the IRPG Discord server, since there's a channel in there just dedicated to the almanac, which has a download link to it pinned in the Discord pinned posts of that channel. So that's where you get that. Of course I'll link the IRPG Discord server. Now, I haven't bothered going down the 3rd or 4th boss's paths at all, but if you go up into this map here, which we are now here, this is the same level of zone. Enemies have the same stats and give the same amount of XP, but also in this map is 79,000, or level 79,000 zone. Now, this hardest enemy in here is 330k attack. The hardest enemy in here is 357k. That's not a big difference. So I think I should be fine. I really don't have to keep moving up, but I'm gonna anyway. Oh, actually, no. Let's see what... Oh, okay. Free gold. Actually, do take these, like, if you... You know, if you know you're gonna make it, like, there's no doubt at all. It's gonna be super easy from where you're at. Uh, I mean, see if you can get extra free gold, because, I mean, you'll probably still have a couple more set slots to unlock. Uh, there's always just random accessories to buy until you've played a ton and you've, you know, bought out everything in the shop. Uh, so, I don't know. And of course you could just get like a second reco and it would be pretty funny, you know what I mean? This video has ended up being longer than I really wanted it to be, but again, it's really fine. So I'll go into this map, because this is also 79,000. This is the last map of Heaven, in terms of, you know, how strong you need to be to live here. That big white, yellowish, but I say white, like, come on, dude. That big white guy, that is Koryu. Oh. And he is the final boss of Heaven. He is the teleport boss out of Heaven, and also enemies of 4th HP bars now. That is the last one. They never have 5. He is the teleport boss out of Heaven. Now, you might notice that there is no level 100,000 zone in Heaven. He is in the highest level zone here. Don't worry about that. You don't need to win a fight in level 100,000 zone. You just need this level to have 6 numbers in it. Just needs to be like 100,000 or more. That's it. Which, speaking of, I am very, very, very close to reaching. Don't worry about triple exclamation mark or single yeah. Don't worry about bonuses that are just exclamation marks. Those take you to bonus areas, which are which mean things later. They don't mean things just yet. Although there is a chance that you'll get a mob that would teleport you to that bonus area, but instead it's just like a silhouette of that mob. And it doesn't teleport you anywhere, and it gives like no XP, no gold, but it does take away a VP. So if you're cutting it really close, like if you're in the position I was just in with like 1 BP, and you're at like 99.8k, just go in here, because you'll be guaranteed a mob that'll take you to 100k. Whereas here, you have like a quarter chance of getting a mob that gives no XP on your last fight, and then you finish like 200 levels short and you have to do the whole thing over again. This is just a bad idea. This is a straight up actual bad idea, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm probably not gonna use all my BP in this run on just, you know, fights that I end up winning. I'm probably gonna just try some stupid stuff. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna throw myself at him. When this bonus ends, I'll try. So this is how strong he is, by the way. This is how much stronger he is than the things around him. Like, that is the same strength of set as my XP set. If I was on my XP set, the same thing would happen. But yeah, so I'm just gonna, I mean, slap my face into him. Obviously, I'm dealing like nearly no damage to him as well. Even if I get this down, which would take like a 10 combo, there's still this to do, which would take like another 10 hits. Like he's unbeatable. Currently. You know what? Nah. There's no point in wasting my time. And as you see, like I still had a spare daily there, even though I reached 100k with like 30 BP to spare. So they're not important for this. They're important for super endgame level runs where you're trying to get every XP bonus you can. It doesn't guarantee XP bonuses. That might sound like it does that, but it doesn't. Yeah. You don't really need them here, so it's fine to, you know, use one on grid and see if you can get the secret boss and get into crystals and just get a bunch more BP. And it's still fine even then if you don't get it. There's also this bonus, which is daily, but nobody really cares about it. Like, I mean, I could get to this point in the game in less than 3 days, and this gives more the more you've used it, up to like 300,000 total. You might notice I already have a few times that, and I've also wasted 30 BP just throwing myself at a boss I can't beat. Just got 8,000 gold. So basically that one isn't worth worrying about. Don't worry about it. It does not matter. It matters to use at the start of your first run when 5,000 gold is a lot, but by the end of your first run, the amount of gold you get from that bonus means nothing. So now, I have finished a run over a level 100k. So what I do now, just to show that hard mode is unlocked, hard weapon number 1. I go to accessories, hard accessory number 1. Now, this actually isn't an item that exists. This would be HP gem plus 6. Those are in the game files, but they're not a thing in the game yet. I say yet, they might never be. We don't know if the game is going to get updated, all of that, but yeah. So there aren't... a lot of these are kind of hard to explain in terms of like what they are. I mean, if you ask me what is hard mode accessory 11, I can't actually remember. I think it might be hero gem plus 1, but I'll see if I'm right later, and then I'll smile to myself if I am. And then there are a couple hard mode items that you can buy. Oh, there is one hard mode accessory. And this one is useful in a bit, but we're not there yet. It is 2 crit ring. This will guarantee your first 2 attacks to be crits. Also, if you have money and nothing else to spend it on, also buy crit damage rings, because later on, you will have a set dedicated to boss fights, where you're essentially just like taking out all the boss's HP in massive crits in the first couple turns, and you're using 3 of these, 1 of these. This is 3 crit ring, which is a drop only item, but you get that way later. You just have 3 of these, 1 of these, or 1 of these if you have one. They don't stack. These do. And then a bunch of items that just give, like, you know, raw stats in your other slots, and then you just hit a boss and you hit it hard. But that's, again, that's for later. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So now I'm gonna go. Where can I mute the ad? Where can I mute the ad? Where can I mute the ad? Where can I? There we go. Okay. Are we still under an hour at least? Oh yeah, decently. So now hard mode has been unlocked. 15 times played. Could have been like 5 or 6 really, because I got recovery first run. That makes things so much easier. But obviously I played without it for a bit. Best level 103,000, and reco is in the set. So these items have also changed, and this reflects the stats I had at the end of the round. You know how the statistics screen works. At the start of the last video, I had 4 maps, and now I have 46. So I've journeyed through a lot of the game. At the start of the last video, I had 2 bosses, and now I have 22. There are a lot of bosses in this game. And now, just to quickly preview what hard mode looks like. So yeah, every zone's level is question marked out. So if you don't know this is a level 1 zone, and I say go to level 1 zone in hard mode, well, firstly, you've never played the game because you know where level 1 zone is, like always. But you wouldn't know where to go, right? So if I say go to level 25 zone in hard mode, because I know to go here. But if you've forgotten where that is because it's not relevant after your first run, you might not remember. So that is another use of this. So there is a hard mode checkbox here, which also adjusts enemy stats, the amount of XP and gold they drop, the encounter chance if they're different in between modes. I don't think that's ever a thing, but still, if it is, it's probably accounted for here. And also changes the drop tables of things. So the next things we're going to be going for, I'm just going to show really quick. So here, we're going to be going here first, actually. And here's why. So this guy, this is back to normal mode, drops Steel Axe. Pretty good drop rate. I mean, 11% with only 2,000 luck, and it's only in a level 1,000 zone, so it's, you know, easy enough to just beat the enemy. In hard mode, he does have, you know, like 8 times the attack, but you have way better gear than you had when you were first at level 1,000. And he drops Steel Axe plus 1. Steel Axe plus 1 has 90,000 flat attack. Now, I know I've said a million times on this that flat isn't that important. This allows you to breeze through the start of even HM. Now I mean the very start. But it lets you farm this guy fast. White Dragon Knight in HM drops God of War Gem, which gives 50,000 agility, but much more importantly, 50,000 defense and 50,000 attack. That is a lot. That will get you through to here really easily. Although you'll farm him as well after you've gotten Steel Axe plus 1. He drops Hero Gem. Remember this from normal mode Rainbow? Yeah, well, this guy doesn't take 15 minutes to get to, he takes 2, and he drops it at about a 1.7% drop rate with 25k luck. Or, I mean, even if you have barely any, it's still 1%. So, the drop rates are about to get a lot lower, but for now at least, the runs, or for the next bit at least, the runs are going to be a lot shorter as well. So it kind of balances out. Personally, it feels kind of more annoying to play through to me, but you'll live. I mean, it's worth reminding you at this point in the game that it's good to just enjoy how the game plays. If you stop enjoying this game, you will stop playing it sooner or later. Don't try to force yourself through a game you don't like, even if it's InflationRPG. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all for the contents of this video. I think I'm pretty much done doing things. I have, as I said I was going to do, gotten Recovery Necklace, and instead of cheating getting it, I actually got it by accident. That was awesome. And I also unlocked HM. And it was with about 30 BP to spare, so that should show, how doable it is with recovery, or how easy it is, because it really is easy. So you should be able to do this on your own. This is usually the first part of the game, as in the part of the game I've covered this video, not what I'm going to get into next. This is usually the first part of the video, or first part of the game where people start to have trouble even just doing the things they're supposed to do. That sounds kind of, mean to them, but it's fair enough. Like, people can take, a while trying to get recovery and be like, wow, this sucks. Like, why is this taking so long? Or they can take they can feel a run meant to unlock HM, even though they already have reco and all the stuff I had, and be like, what am I doing wrong? You could well be doing something wrong that's really simple and that we can help with. So I said this at the end of last video, I'm going to say it at the end of this one. Join the IRPG Discord server if you want any more help. Don't rely on me to, don't think that I'm going to be releasing another one of these tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. Don't trust me to do that. I don't have the motivation for that. Just join the IRPG Discord server and you'll have all the information you need as soon as you need it. But I don't think there's really much else to say or do, so I'm just gonna cut this here. Yeah, thanks for watching if you have the whole way through, and see ya.